Good morning, Fort Worth. You found the Fort Worth Roots morning show. We start recording at 7 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we get this episode out to you by 8 a.m., trying to keep you up to date with what's happening around the city of Fort Worth. Big shout out to all of you that came out this weekend, for Arts Goggle. Made a lot of new friends. That was cool. I imagine some of you are tuning in this morning, so thank you for being here. Fort Worth Roots has been going for 5 years, and we do a really long episode once a week, and that will still continue, but the morning show is only about 20 minutes long, and we are just trying to get you up to date with what's happening in the city, mostly. If there's some cool stories happening out there abroad, we'll bring them up to you, but basically just what's happening here in Fort Worth, the surrounding area, events, news, stuff like that. All right, well, let's get into it. This past weekend, starting off Friday, after we did some videos with a couple of our Fort Worth Roots sponsors, we ran over to Cicada and watched Cavano, The Flying Beats, and Stereo Friend put on a rad little show. If y'all haven't been out to Cicada, that's a great music venue. Early Saturday morning, 50 local bands, 1,000 vendors, dozens of first responders, shop owners, and a whole army of volunteers got up before the sun to head over to the 2024 Arts Goggle. Most of them were already fairly beat up from the day before, preparing the streets, moving equipment, getting barricades in place, preparing the stages for our artists, and a very select few were absolutely exhausted from the year of planning that went into this monster of an event. Well, all that hard work paid off, and everyone involved should carry their head a little higher today, this week, maybe for the next month, maybe all year long until the next Arts Goggle. Because Arts Goggle 2024 was great. We had a wonderful turnout. Fort Worth, you really showed up for this one. And a lot of people from out of town, too. Fort Worth Roots was set up on Magnolia, right there in front of Seneca Studios. By the way, y'all need to check that out. An incredible 501c3 that engages in glass sculptures, glass blowing. It's the only place you can do something like that within 400 miles. Really cool place. Anyway, we were in front of Seneca Studios on Block 10 and got to make a lot of friends, like I was saying, but we were there all day just emceeing, telling people where to find information and whatnot. But we had a great time. Megan was out there with me. Thank you, Megan, my lovely lady, and was a huge help. It's awful doing events like that by yourself, but thank you, Megan. And thank you guys again for coming out. Thank you to all the volunteers and vendors. I'm proud that we got to be a part of that event. So, and now you guys can all hopefully take Monday and Tuesday off. Maybe you get a week off after a big event like that. All right, well, that's enough about Arts Goggle. Hope you all had a chance to make it out there and have some fun with us. That was cool. All right, and then Sunday, after a little coffee at Boulevard Brew, Megan and I found our way over to Hoppin', where we're recording at this morning. We record at Hoppin' Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday through the month of October. It's a cool little spot, opened up about 7 weeks ago. You need to check out this place. It's next to Doc's Records. Anyway, we came over here Sunday because at Hoppin' they had Cousin's Maine Lobster. And you can go on our social media to see some of the delicacies provided by Cousin's Maine Lobster yesterday. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and what's the other one? TikTok as Fort Worth Roots. Today is National Apple Day. Go out and get yourself a whole bag of apples. National Apple Day. It's also National Frog Day. If you care to check into these, go right ahead. Today is also National Back to the Future Day. We've got some more on that later, but I sent a graphic. I just took a screenshot and sent it to McFly's Pub. I was like, you guys know it's National Back to the Future Day tomorrow, right? And they had no idea. So, anyway, National Back to the Future Day. That's today, October 21st. Here's an interesting one. Global Iodine Deficiency Disorder Prevention Day. That's a mouthful, but I wanted to read into that one. History of Global Iodine Deficiency Disorders Prevention Day. Early Chinese medical texts dating back to roughly 3600 BC were the first to document the reduction in goiter size following consumption of seaweed and burnt sea sponge. According to historical records, even though iodine had not yet been found, These medicines remained successful, and their use persisted throughout the world, as attested in works by Hippocrates, Galen, and Roger in later centuries. The discovery of iodine happened by chance the first half of the 19th century while extracting sodium salts from use in the production of gunpowder in 1811. Bernard Cortis, a French chemist, noticed an unusual purple vapor rising from seaweed ash treated with sulfuric acid. Okay, that's enough of that. Anyway, apparently that's a big deal, iodine deficiency. So check your iodine levels, folks, every 21st of October. The goal was to eliminate iodine deficiency by the year 2000. I don't know if they got there. More on that. Look it up. Local news, Fort Worth. This is really cool. $22 million Omni Immersive Dome Theater by COSM is nearly done. The inside of the newly remodeled Jane and John Justin Foundation Omni Theater at the Fort Worth Museum of Science and History. The new Omni Theater is the world's largest LED dome display ever installed in a museum and is expected to be open at some point in November 2024. That was by Chris Torres. See Torres at star-telegram.com. He was the author of that story. For nearly 40 years, the museum's Omni IMAX theater dazzled moviegoers by projecting images on its 180-degree ceiling. The theater, built in 1983 as Fort Worth's only IMAX, shut down in March 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic began. Over the last 18 months, the theater has undergone major renovations to transform it into a 5K LED immersive dome made up of nearly 12,000 individual screens. We're going to have to check that out. Theater is located at 1600 Gendy Street, Fort Worth, Texas, part of the Fort Worth Museum of Science and History. This story, what is going on here? This one was by Braden Garcia, the StarTelegram.com. We're citing two different people here. Okay, anyway, moving on. Family resumes search for missing Fort Worth woman 8 years after disappearance. In October of 2016, shortly after Typhini went missing outside of her Fort Worth apartment, the search were frequent and filled with volunteers. And then in 2019, a jury found Typhini's ex-boyfriend, Christopher Revel, guilty of kidnapping her. As the trial wrapped up, loved ones say many seemed to forget she was still missing, but they remain desperate for answers. On the 8th anniversary of Typhini's disappearance, her sister and aunt have joined Johnson in Texas, which I guess is an organization, to search yet again. That includes an area along South Hughes Avenue near East Rosedale Street, where human remains were found last summer and identified as Talaba Islam, another ex-girlfriend of Revel's, who disappeared 10 years before Typhini. Okay, sounds like a great guy. It's a clue. Still, the women hold on to hope that Typhini had a different fate. Wild, right here in our backyard. That story's by Ali Spilliards, and I found that on MSN.com. 1 second. Fort Worth's Green Ambitious... Oh, God, come on now, Andrew. Fort Worth's Green Ambitious grow with... Oh, my God. Fort Worth's Green Ambitions grow with 58.8 acre expansion of Rock Creek Ranch Park. The City Council has flexed its conservation muscles to the tune of $1.59 million, acquiring a whopping 58.8 acres of open space to be stitched into the fabric of the existing parks. This strategic move cements Rock Creek Ranch Park as a centerpiece of Fort Worth's park system, second only to a couple of the big dogs, Gateway Park and the Fort Worth Nature Center. I didn't know Gateway was that big. Fort Worth Nature Center, I think that's sitting on, some serious acreage. This isn't some impromptu splurge to momentarily please the green thumbs among us. The park's extension is part of a chess game the city's been playing for some time now. Zoning into conserve an area that packs both historical punch and natural charm. According to the City of Fort Worth's announcement, Park and Recreation Director Richard Zavala, the strategic acquisition of this natural and historical property will have long-reaching effects for current and future generations. The city's already sunk its roots into 297 acres of the site over the past 3 years, with each move echoing the broader environmental goals set out in its open space conservation program. And it's not just about giving the hikers and picnickers more ground to cover. The acquisition lines up with Mayor Mattie Parker's ambitions for Fort Worth's green future, pegged in the Good-Natured Green Space Initiative, which aims to boldly put aside 10,000 acres for green space over the next 5 years. With this recent addition, the city isn't just counting acres, it's ensuring community well-being, ecosystem preservation, healthier waterways, and even bolstering flood control defenses. Stories by Nate Simmons on Hoodline.com. All right, national news. I had one story that I found for national news. You guys might already have picked up on this, but we don't get into all the war stuff. That's for another news publication or show. I don't want to overload you with that this early in the morning. You know what's going on. You know it never stops. So if you need to know about that kind of stuff, you're going to have to look elsewhere. Sydney beaches reopened days after hundreds of tar balls wash ashore. This story was by Shahana Yasmin 2 days ago. You can find it at msn.com. Beaches in Sydney reopened after being closed earlier this week. Hundreds of mysterious golf ball-sized black lumps washed ashore. These dark spheres, which were first spotted on Coogee Beach on Tuesday, were confirmed to be tar balls, but it was unclear where they originated from. Let's see if they get to that part of the story. We found no further evidence of the substance, so this appears to be an isolated incident, says one person in the story. Around 2,000 balls were picked up since Tuesday, according to The Guardian, even though only 150 balls were found on Friday. Huh. Okay, all right. There you have it. I don't know. Seems like end-of-day stuff. And they've got some photos here of like the seagulls just looking at these golf ball black tar balls sitting all over the beach. It's wild stuff. Way to go, Team Human. Yeah. We gotta do better with the old tar balls. All right. Events. Got some events here for you. Today's events. Today being Back to the Future Day. Get half-price drinks all day at McFly's Pub. They got Chuck Z Barbecue from 6 to 11. And it's Industry Night at Hoppin'. Every Monday, get 25% off taps. Tomorrow's Trivia Night. Every Tuesday, they do Trivia Night at Hoppin'. And that starts at 7 p.m. You guys tuning in for the first time, my name is Andrew, and we have been doing the Fort Worth Roots podcast for 5 years, but it has turned into a lot since then. We put live shows together for the community. This year we did the live music series, which was March to October, and it was great. We took a different band and put them on a different stage around Fort Worth through the entire music series, and then the last show we did, October 5th, out at Pouring Glory, we closed down 2 city blocks. We had 70-something vendors, I believe, or close to it, and 5 bands on stage. And those 5 bands were from the series that we did throughout the year. And it was a barn burner, man. Everybody had a good time. And we want to do it bigger and badder every year. So I can't make any promises right now because a lot of that does depend on sponsorship. But what we'd like to do is put 3 bands on a stage every month throughout the year. And then the same event that we did this October 5th, we'd like to format it about like that. But instead of 1 stage, we're going to have 2. And instead of 10 hours long, we're going to try to keep it around 5, maybe 6 hours. Because 10 hours, as you know, if you were a vendor or a volunteer yesterday at Arts Goggle, 10 hours is a long damn time to be outside in the elements for any event. So we're going to try to shrink that up. Anyway, so that's kind of Fort Worth Roots in a nutshell. We also do karaoke and singer-songwriter nights, just anything to get involved with the community. So If you need anything from Fort Worth Roots, you need us to bring a big sound system, you need me as an MC or anything. You need an extra set of hands here in Fort Worth to hold a camera during one of your art projects, movie projects, whatever, creative stuff. Call me. Get on our hotline, 817-988-1292. Our email is media@fortworthroots.com. I am full-time Fort Worth Roots now, so we've got time to get involved with other things at this point. Also, in the month of November, we are looking for some other locations to do the morning show. So if you can think of a excellent location for Fort Worth Roots to take the morning show, let us know. Same email, media@fortworthroots.com. And you guys can get us on all the social media sites. You can DM me through there. Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. It's all Fort Worth Roots. This show has polluted the internet to the point where if you type in Fort Worth Roots in your Google search or whichever search, it all comes up. You can find it now. It took 5 years to get to that point, but used to, when you would Google Fort Worth Roots, you'd have to go 4 or 5 pages back. Now it's right up front. So easy to find, and these episodes, like I was telling you earlier, are ready to go every morning at 8 a.m. And if you have any suggestions or you'd like to call in and tell us about a big event, call us. Leave a voicemail. You don't like that idea? Let's set up a call. I'll record with you over the phone. We can do some back and forth. I'm really good at that. Or you can just do a recording and send it through the email. Whatever you want to do. We just want you to be part of the show. This is this 20-minute segment is supposed to be a bridge for the community, connecting fiber for our city. So let's go. Let's do it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. And we will have another episode ready for you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. You can find it first at Spotify. Looks like they repopulate their catalog quicker than everybody else. If you want it the quickest, you can go to our website, fortworthroots.com. That's a great place to see our sponsors like Hoppin' and many other great local businesses that are trying to get your attention. You go to fortworthroots.com for all that good stuff. We've got a tab, Trusted Sponsors. Click on that and find great ways to spend your money locally. Again, thank y'all for listening to this morning's episode. As you move through today, I hope that you will choose love and gratitude every chance you get. Until next time, folks, good day.
Let go, 'cause dreams do come true. And here comes my great day in the morning. My great day in the morning.